to run through some various steps with regards to user management in PCSE Online. Now, the reason why I wanted to run through this with you all is because there's certain areas in PCSE Online that are managed by different user organisation administrators, and it can sometimes be a little bit confusing. I am just going to concentrate on what's relevant for this webinar. Now, as you can see, practices have 3 separate groups in PCSE Online. Now, each group can only perform tasks that do fall within that separate group. So you've got your supplies and logistics, perform list services, and GP payments and pensions. And within each group, it's got one user organisation administrator. Now, that user organisation administrator is only responsible for assigning roles within that area. So, for example, if you're a main contact at the practice and you want to assign a role, say, in the perform list services department, you're not going to be able to do that as a main contact. It's only the PL organisation user administrator that will be able to assign that role out. So, with regard to the estimate form, we are going to run through the perform list process along with the joiner and leaver process as well. So there are going to be various roles that are needed to complete each steps along the way. Now, for anything perform list related, the PL practice manager role is the role that is needed in PCSE Online. Now, having that role will ensure that you can see any employment changes that are submitted by GPs, and it'll also allow you to approve them as well. Now, having said that, if you don't have anybody at the practice that has the PL practice manager role, that would then mean that nobody's going to be picking those employment change requests up, which then essentially means the GP's journey is not able to complete as it should do. So you won't be able to complete the practice joiner form, and then essentially the practice estimate form won't be able to be completed. So just moving on then, looking at the next area, which would be relevant to this session, it is the GP pensions and payments. And as you can see, there's lots of different roles in this area, the tasks that are completed in PCSE Online. Now, again, as I've mentioned, it would only be the practice user management admin that can assign the other roles within this area. So, like I said, I just wanted to highlight that because there is a lot of confusion sometimes, and people saying they're not able to assign people roles, even though they're a user administrator. You have to be the user administrator within the area that you want to assign the role. Now, just looking at the roles that we're going to be discussing through the presentation. So I've already touched on the PL practice manager role. So that's the practice member that will be responsible for managing perform list changes. So that'll be if a GP's started at the practice, leaving at the practice, and changing roles at the practice. Now, the roles that you need for the other tasks, so I'll start on the practice estimate role, which is what Katrina's just kind of gone through on the presentation. So to be able to submit estimate forms and the salary change role, you will need the practice estimates and salary change role in PCSE Online. And again, if you don't have that role or you need to have it, you'll need to speak to the user administrator that's responsible for the pensions and payments area. And the last role that I wanted to mention was just the joiners and leavers role. So we are going to be showing you the pension joiner form and leaver form. And if you are a member at the practice that needs to complete these but don't have the access to do so, then the joiners and leavers role is what you're going to need.